Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out of this world story from rSpace. My girlfriend cheated on me with what I called my best friend. This is a cautionary tale. Ergo, et tu, Brute? Me, 25 male, girlfriend, 23 female, at the time. A little over 25 years ago, I found the woman of my dreams. We will call her Mary. We did everything together. She learned to love my passions like scuba diving and fishing. She was beautiful, smart, and funny. After about a year, we moved in together. More or less, I still kept my own place, but stayed at her place more often than not. Life was great. In fact, I was thinking about asking her to marry me. Then, she started acting distant. I was getting the Heisman in bed, and she started to want alone time, picking BS fights, always be mindful of red flags. Even if she tells you, it's not in your head. I started to talk to my best friend Billy every night about what was happening and how I was thinking it was another man and what I was trying to do to find out. After trying for a long time to catch her, I gave up and moved on. I ended up moving to another city about 2 hours away with a much better job. Then one day, out of the blue, Mary reconnects with me. We chat for hours and hours over days and weeks. Think of Forrest Gump. We were like peas and carrots. She comes to visit. It goes well. So she moves in with me and finds a job. Things are going so well, we start to look for a nicer apartment, and again, I was thinking about popping the question. I was in the process of thinning things out, pitching out the junk to make the move easier. She drove up to see her folks, a 2-hour drive. I had to work the next day, so I did not go. I went back to pitching out things. I got to a pile of partially used legal pads and notebooks, flipped through them to make sure I was not pitching out anything important. I opened a notebook, like the ones in school with a black and white binder. It was Mary's journal. I read it, every single sorted word. I was absolutely crushed. I went into the bathroom and puked. It's been 25 years and I can still feel the pain. I hardly know where to start. She was having a non-stop sexual affair with my best friend Billy, with every sexual detail you can imagine down to the taste of his manly fluids. Her and Billy were laughing at me about how he knew every single thing I was doing to catch them. It all falls into place. That is the reason I never caught them. I was telling my every move to the guy that was screwing my girl. A few months after our breaking up, still completely in the dark, I started to notice that Billy was very, very distant. For example, I was not invited to a barbecue held at Billy's house, which I thought was odd, but I went anyway. When I walked in, they acted like they had seen a ghost, and a few were bumping their elbows to each other and were chuckling to themselves. I saw Mary there, which was not a shock as we ran in with the same crowd. In hindsight, Billy looked uncomfortable, but at the time, I played it off as maybe he thought he forgot to invite me and felt bad. I did not stay long as the place had a weird vibe going on. More red flags. In large part, I was ostracized from my, what I thought, friends, still in the dark. So much so that I never said goodbye to any of them when I moved. After reading her journal, I made copies. One set for me, one set for Mary's parents, one set for Billy's current wife and his parents, and left a set on top of the pile of her things by the front door. I put a note in saying, she has 24 hours to pack and leave. Otherwise, I will call the police. My name is on the lease. My phone blew up, and I did not answer. My voicemail was filled with, I love you, you're my best friend, that was in the past, you were the love of my life, etc., and more, etc. At the end of my note, on top of her things, it said, I will never be someone's plan B. Fast forward 20 plus years, happily married to a woman that adores me with grown kids. Moral of the story? Pay attention to red flags. And remember, Caesar thought that Brutus was his friend. Edit to add, I wish things like the internet were back around then, and I would have seen the red flags better. It was just baffling back then until the last then. It all falls into place. A little too late, but better than ending up with someone's plan B. Let's check in with those reactions. Apache34 says, Man, you're my hero and I'm glad you managed to start a family with a real woman. I love it when someone older gives advice on a sub. Skilled626 says, Life can be evil and vile. Your experience was soul-crushing and traumatic. Thank you for sharing it with us and emphasizing to be mindful of red flags. And the thing with so-called friends. I think it was pretty crummy no one stepped forward to tell you that Billy and that wench were seeing each other. Friends are like shadows. They only appear when the sun is shining. GB Gomer Boys says, Loved how you handled it and put out the trash. Whatever happened to Mary and Billy? Hope they both got what was coming to them. The OP answers, I cut contact with both of them. At first, I started to get into my car and drive to my old friend's house and do some real physical damage. But then I started to think how I would end up with a cellmate called Brucey. So logic set in. And as I just walled off the old backstabbing friends, I have no idea. I do hope they end up with crap lives. Rocket H says, best part of your story? Fast forward 20 years, happily married to a woman that adores me with grown kids. I had an ex-fiance who had a child with another guy. He was a piece of crap. Physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive to her, but she kept messing around with him behind my back. Finally had enough and dumped her. Found the love of my life. 20 plus years later, same thing. She adores me and me her. 2 kids. Things work out. Karma of the whole thing. Ex married someone else. He ended cheating on her a few years back, got another woman pregnant, and left my ex. She had to move home at 42, living with her parents. She told a pastor friend of mine I was her biggest mistake. I'm just glad I found my wife. You hit the nail on the head. Never be someone's plan B. Moving on to the next story. Is sexting really cheating? This is a bit of a ramble, and I'm really looking for a space to process some feelings. 3 days ago, I found out my wife has been sexting with someone over Discord for the past 2.5 weeks. We had just come back from a vacation together, and she had left her phone in our bedroom. At that point, I had a gut feeling something was wrong for a couple of days. The regular signs, jerking her phone away when I got close, stress closing apps, never leaving her phone unmonitored. So I did the thing you should never do and took the opportunity and went through her phone. What I found was that she was sexting and sending nudes and short little films of herself playing with herself for him. A massive fight obviously broke out because with the evidence in hand, I have to admit I was not the most level-headed person. After the massive blowout, I had calmed down enough to at least hear her out. Now, to preface all of this, I want to say that my family got some traumatic news about 3 months ago, and I haven't been in the best headspace. She sheepishly explained that once I started to throw myself into work and let it consume me, she started looking for appreciation elsewhere. What started as her just wanting a quick chat with strangers ended up with her finding a dom on Discord. There were a few rules set up between them, and her job was to entertain him as he saw fit, i.e. all the videos. Beyond feeling abandoned by me, she also said it was a chance for her to discover her kinks, specifically ones she deemed too extreme to ever discuss with me. As I have gathered, she got exactly what she needed out of it. I'm not going to leave my wife. There is a lot of underlying anxiety that she hasn't dealt with and some sexual trauma from her past. And when I say that she is regretful and sorry, I know in my heart that it is true. But I'm stuck with all these intrusive thoughts where I have such a hard time seeing past what she has done. My gut feeling is that I want to read everything they have said to each other, but she has since deleted everything. Would it be out of line to ask her to get copies from the guy she was texting? I feel like I need full transparency. Beyond that, I don't know how to stop questioning if maybe I am just not what she wants or needs. I can't stop asking myself how it's possible that she couldn't turn to me. We already have a dom-sub relationship, and she still turned to another dom. I can't stop thinking about what they might have shared. I keep looking back on these 2 weeks, wondering what behavior was requested by her new dom and what moments were truly just between her and me. I'm even going so far as to try to pinpoint the exact moments where she would have been taking these videos and chats. I feel very betrayed, and I don't know where to begin processing this. First reaction coming from Ian Bridgeman68. Yes, it's cheating and totally disrespectful to you and your marriage. She has kinks that she can't talk to you about? You're her freaking husband, and stepping outside of your marriage to explore kinks and seek thrills elsewhere is abhorrent. Don't minimize this or let her minimize it to you. I would kick mine to the curb if she even did half the crap you describe with another dude. Consequences for her, or this will turn really bad for you. Good luck. Another way in from Stuff123211. Yes, it's cheating. And not only that, she's gaslighting you and making it your fault for her infidelity. I can't make your life choices for you, but she's the type to do it again and again till it gets physical. Your best option is divorce, whether it's a tough pill to swallow or not. It will suck for the first few months, but trust me, you'll be kicking yourself years down the line for not doing it if you don't. She will betray you again. Also, OP, anyone can feign remorse, and cheaters are the best at it. Final comment before moving on, coming from Straight Goods 30. So I did the thing you should never do and took the opportunity and went through her phone. Married people need to stop saying this. The moment you say I do, there should not be any secrets that includes phones and social media. She sheepishly explained that once I started to throw myself into work and let it consume me, she started looking for appreciation elsewhere. So instead of coming to talk to you, she decided to seek that attention elsewhere. Beyond feeling abandoned by me, she also said it was a chance for her to discover her kinks, specifically ones she deemed too extreme to ever discuss with me. As I have gathered, she got exactly what she needed out of it. This is total BS, and she is gaslighting the hell out of you because if she can't tell her husband about her sexual desires, then why get married in the first place? Also, just because it wasn't physical doesn't mean it wasn't cheating. Cheating would be anything you do with someone else that you wouldn't want your spouse knowing. If this wasn't cheating, why was she hiding it from you? And why did she delete the messages so you couldn't read? Alright, one more story for this episode. I came across a notebook that my soon-to-be ex-wife has been writing in that contained my name and her affair partner's name. It is a side-by-side comparison between me and the affair partner. Naturally, he has more qualities than I do. She lists 12 things to my 6 or so. I'm better looking, so there's that at least. I cook, I clean, I do whatever she wants, and I'm a good father. He has a manly job and wage, a manly truck, awesome sex, passionate, intense, etc. Sounds great, doesn't it? Perhaps I was once these things too, but after 16 years of marriage, I guess you get complacent. This speaks like the honeymoon phase of a new relationship. I'm just a librarian. Former soldier, but whatever, a male librarian is, nonetheless, a rare breed, and I gather to her and her friends this means I'm gay, or something less than. Alongside that is some sappy teenage girl who loves poetry that she has written about him, about how he makes her alive, fills the void, but won't let anyone in. She seems desperately to want him to enter into a relationship, but he is content with just sex and seems utterly uninterested in anything else. So what does that make me? Officially, second best plan B. Fallback guy? Feels like a stab into the heart. I have a feeling, well more than a feeling, that were he interested in a relationship, she would be long gone already. But he's not, so she wants to work on us. There is no us left. On top of this, she has me second guessing my interactions with the kids. She is jealous of them and the attention they get from me, in particular my daughter. But they are young, 11, 8, and 5. It's not like I always lavish attention on them. They take the attention they want. They demand it. They're kids. Just a rant, I guess. And now to check in with the community. XZY89C1 says, glad she is a soon-to-be ex-wife. She is delusional. Wait till he tires of her. She will come running back. C-Mission 6316 says, and when she does, don't you dare take her back. Snoo Owls 46 says, nothing wrong with a male librarian, especially for women who read books. I don't know whether you're interested in reconciling or not, but I hope you realize you shouldn't be Plan B. Claustrophobic weighs in. My favorite part of her list was, he has a nice truck. As someone who's made the big truck small dick joke for years, it's amazing that people actually really take stuff like that into consideration. The list should make it a little easier, to be honest. You know she's as deep as a petri dish. Old Scouter has an extensive thought. He has a manly job and wage, manly truck, awesome sex, passionate, intense, etc. Sounds great, doesn't it? I don't want to come across as mean or sarcastic. Okay, I can be. See bottom. But here is some positive reinforcement. You are better looking. If when you decide to get free, you'll have an advantage in the dating world. You cook. This is an important feature in your life. You're not going to be the one living on fast food. Also, women love to have meals prepped for them. At least my missus does. You clean. Your digs won't look like a frat party aftermath. You are flexible, probably too much so. It really is time to read the 180 and engage it. Time to do what you want, and that should include some of the manlier activities. I'd suggest chasing women and hanging out in disreputable places, but you're too likely to run into the affair partner. The standard sub suggestions are to hit the gym, focus on your hobbies and interests, and consider boxing or MMA. Anything that causes high intensity effort will help bring the endorphins out and make you feel a lot better. Lastly, you're a good father. This is by her own admission. Keep focus on raising your kids and being a good dad, but don't forget to do things for yourself. Now for the sarcasm. Deep manly truck voice. When you're poaching housewives, make sure your truck is Ford Tough or some other kind of truck. Don't forget the lift kit, huge tires and oversized engines. If she's 25 watt bright, it'll charm her panties off. Secret Inside has a thought too. As a book lover, you sound like a romance novel. Former soldier turned librarian, good looking and a great dad. Sounds like a lot of women's fantasy to me. Move on. You don't need to deal with someone who doesn't appreciate you. Anxious Ad 6311 says, dude, please tell me that you have finally decided to leave, like she has admitted to sex again with him. She lied on the polygraph test. OP responds, divorce is in the works. I have a lawyer on retainer and I'm working on gathering all the documents that he requires to get it started. She wants me to hold off on it and work through counseling with her, but I am not optimistic that we can continue. She insists she has no feelings for him, but everything points to the contrary. She continues to blame me, rug sweep, and refuses to even acknowledge my feelings about all of this. Last weigh-in from Jambomo. I am a female librarian and I work with lots of male librarians. To my knowledge, none of them are gay. She is, however, full of crap.